And we are back. Truck and Hustle Tuesdays. What's up, everybody? How was everybody's weekend? Everybody's Monday. Everybody back to work. Back to the grind, doing their thing. Hope all is doing well. Today's show, we have BJ Phillips. BJ Phillips is the founder of Black Small Biz. Black Small Biz is a educational platform that touches on all things trucking, as well as minority certifications and even sales funnels. So if you check out her site, blacksmallbiz.com, you can learn a lot. We're going to get into all that today during the show. Also, before we continue, I want to give a shout out. I like to recognize everybody that I see out there showing love to Truck and Hustle. I like to spread that love and give that love back. So, Mr. Cherry, what's up? Q So Priceless, what's good? Black Thoughts Are Divine. My guy Polo B Working. I've been owed you a shout out, my brother. What's up with you? GFP Sports, what up? Congratulations on starting your business. Cool Running Water, Ty Gifted, and everybody else who's been supporting the show. Just wanted to acknowledge y'all and say what's up. So that's it, man. We about to get into this show. Oh yeah. Also, let me get into this. We actually have our first sponsor for Truck and Hustle. We have a sponsor. We getting real bougie now, y'all. So our sponsor is Juice Easy. Juice Easy. So Juice Easy is fresh press plant-based juice detoxes. They actually are located in Houston. They have two locations, one on the East End and then also another one at the Galleria Mall. But you can also reach them at Juice Easy online and order a juice detox. So everybody's talking about getting healthy, getting fit. Yo, this is the way to go. Get into that juicing. I've been juicing myself personally for the last couple of years, and it's done wonders for me. So if you're interested in juicing, check out Juice Easy online. Holla at my folks over there, and you can use the code Truck and Hustle 15. Truck and Hustle 15. Use that code, and you can get a discount, 15%. Compliments of your boy. All right, so let's get into the show with no further ado. And as I always love to say, put your ears on, and if you smell something burning, it's only what? Only your desire. What's up, y'all? This is Ramel Watley, and welcome to Truck and Hustle, the podcast for trucking entrepreneurs. If you want to learn about the trucking industry from the business side of things, you're in the right place. Every week, I interview the people who are making it happen on a daily basis. I get them to share their successes, their failures, and sometimes even their secrets. The goal is to show you how you too can create financial freedom in the booming trucking industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
I mean, Black women, the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, we got all this Black excellence, opening up all these amazing businesses, just doing big things. But our gross average receipts are $58,000. That's a problem.
Turn my mic up. Take there. Yeah. On the road to the riches. Life takes a toll like bridges. Good friends become foes and snitches. Better watch who knows in your business. Well, I'm so glad to have you here. I've been hunting you down for a little while, man, trying to get you on the show. So you can contribute, and it's good to have you here today. So I want to start with something, and we're gonna kind of go back, right? But I just want to start with this. So when I first kind of got introduced to you, like via social media, Instagram, you had a post that basically was like, this woman is traveling all over the world and that while she's making money in the trucking industry. And I thought that was brilliant. I just want you to talk to me a little bit about that and how that whole thing came about, because that's the first time I really got introduced to BJ Phillips. So talk to me about that.
Okay, so I want to say it was maybe 2014. We had been in business. So first, I got starting my dad's trucking company in 2007.
Okay.
And then I started my own in 2012.
Okay. Okay.
So I had a little bit of experience, and I knew that I hated it.
Okay.
So
Got you.
the contrary to many people that probably come on this podcast, they probably like, yes, it's the best. Like, I'm like, mm-mm. You know? There's so many things that bother me about the industry. And so I was like, if we're going to do this, me and the Bay, I was like, we're not doing the quote unquote traditional route.
Okay.
I do everything. There's a post I always make. It says, I don't work hard for the money. I work hard for the view.
Okay.
I'm a vacation fanatic.
Okay.
So in 2014, both of us have December birthdays. And so we took off the month of like from Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, and we were gone for 23 days.
Okay.
And so the whole time we were gone, our business was still operating. Our trucking business was operating, and our truckless business was operating. So, you know, I thought, you know, me personally, I don't want to just teach people how to only buy a truck and then be stuck in their truck.
Okay.
That's not what I do. You know, That's not what we do. We be all over the place, whether we're looking for trucks or whether we're vacationing, we're always somewhere. And so my friend was like, you can't just go out there and say, oh, I'm going to tell you how to start a trucking company and that's it. Like, you need to tell them what you're really doing. So
there you go.
All right. I said, okay, well, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. She said, why don't you put a vacation picture up?
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. And I said, well, like, that has nothing to do with truck. I said, you know what? I got it. I saw all these memes on all these pages, and it's like, meet BJ. She's this, blah, blah. I said, forget that.
Right.
BJ's on vacation.
There you go.
But the trucks are still running. So and it went crazy. Like, that image got a huge response from a ton of people. And I think it hit home because people never thought that that's how you could operate a trucking business.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
And I know I know you know them, Hood Estates. That's a couple. And when I found them on Instagram, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I'm trying to tell people that we do.
Right.
That's how that picture came about.
Beautiful. And I just wanted to start with that because I thought that was a great new approach to the business and something fresh that people hadn't seen before. And it really, you know, it got my attention, you know, so I'm sure it got a lot of people's attention as well, you know. And I just thought that was dope marketing. And I just wanted to touch on that before we kind of got into things. But let's rewind. Let's kind of get back to the beginning. So you already stated that you started out with your father's trucking company, and then you went into building your own business. So let's start with young BJ. You're still young, but younger BJ, right? Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning. Where'd you grow up? Where were you born? And tell me about your backstory.
So I grew up in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC, the DMV, as everyone calls it. But I'm like, they're cool.
All right.
So, yeah, I was born and raised here, and I didn't know it until I was right out of high school. But when my father started his trucking company, apparently my dad's dad had a trucking company as well. So I found a picture of my grandfather in his truck, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool, Dad. Like, you're a second generation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I helped him. Actually, this is how I got into it, because, you know, I told you I'm not about the trucking life, okay?
Copy that.
My dad started his trucking business, and I wanted a minivan. So everybody always laughs at me. Like, I was 20 years old, and I wanted a minivan because I had a ton of friends. I was like, I need all my friends with me. Let me get this minivan. I had a baby. So I was like, yeah, this stroller's in the way of people in the car seat. So let me get a minivan. He said, you going to work for that minivan.
Right.
Like, I just quit my job.
Okay.
Like, okay. He said, well, you can run my trucking business for me. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And he said, you'll figure it out.
Okay.
So he threw me into it. This was like July of 2007. Okay. Dad's business is just as old as my son is. So
got you.
July of 2007, I started working for him. So
real quick, let me stop you real fast. So give me an idea of the business at that time, your dad's business.
Yeah.
How many trucks were in the fleet? Tell me about that a little bit.
So my dad went against everything I tell my students. Okay.
Okay.
He went out in 2007. He bought a 2007 tri-axle dump truck, KW,
Okay.
W900. Okay.
Okay.
It was gold. A big gold dump truck. And I was like, Dad, what is this thing? And what are we supposed to do with it? And he's like,
Right.
I'm gonna drive it. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
He starts driving in 2 months later. So that was April of 2007. 2 months later, his co-worker, which ended up being my bae eventually.
Okay.
Like,
Nice.
okay, if you come and work for me, I'll buy you a new truck.
Okay.
So my dad buys 2 brand new KW 2007 dump trucks.
Wow. Okay.
They just start working. And my dad's like, okay, go to the bank. And I'm looking at these checks. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Right. Now, was there any trucking experience previous to buying the dump trucks, or what made them get into the dump truck industry?
He worked for someone else. My son is getting his.
That's cool. That's no problem. What's up, son?
He worked for someone else. So my dad was a body man. He fixed cars.
Okay.
His whole entire life.
Mechanic.
But somehow, yeah. So one of his buddies that he worked on the cars, they were like, hey, I have a dump truck. So my dad went and got his CDL, and he's working for him.
Nice.
And so after working for him for a little while, my dad decided, he was like, well, I'm just going to buy my own. And so he went down to the dealership. I don't know if you know how it was in 2007. Anybody could get a truck. You didn't have to put any money down.
Right. Okay.
You could come in there. If you had a CDL or you had a partner that had a CDL, they was giving trucks.
You were good to go.
Yes.
Got you.
So that's what he did.
Okay.
And so he got the first one. After, you know how it goes when you finance a truck, you make 3 payments. They calling you like, you want another one?
Another one? Yeah.
He was like, well, I got to find a driver. He was doing well with the dump truck. The checks were coming in, as you know, stuff comes in. Everything's looking great. They offered him another truck, and he was like, okay. So he offered a position to one of his coworkers, and those two were just hand in hand. They just went to work.
Okay.
Again, tri-axle dump truck. So we're doing everything. Asphalt. We got our first snow contract that year. So they were pushing snow, and everything was great.
Okay.
Until I believe was it that same year or the following year, the fuel went up.
Okay.
And so everything it just completely flipped on us.
Okay.
Fuel is our biggest expense.
Right.
So it was like, we went from only a couple $100s in fuel per truck a week. It was like thousands of dollars because the fuel doubled. It went from like $2 and some change to over $4 for fuel. Gotcha. And so that made a huge difference. And so for me, I was like, you sure you still want to do this?
Right.
But, we were making it work.
Yeah.
And so that went on for all the way till 2007. So we were still in dump trucks.
Okay.
My father got in a really, really bad accident. And he ended up having to have brain surgery.
Wow.
And yeah, it was crazy. It was nerve-wracking. And so at the time, his driver had become my bae. Okay. A whole controversy.
Right. I could imagine.
Like, okay, well, by this time, 2012, my dad had 4 trucks.
Okay.
So he had 2 drivers, and he had his truck, and I don't know what. Oh no, he had 3 drivers and his truck.
Okay.
And so he got in an accident in his one truck, but there were still 3 other trucks.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, we got insurance to pay. Like, he's having brain surgery. I didn't know what was going on. So we just went to work. Okay. So we just took everything over. He had no idea that the trucks were still running. Obviously, he's focused on his health.
Right.
So when he ends up getting out of the hospital and he realized that we continued everything, all the drivers were working, they were still getting paid. He was like,
how did y'all make that happen? Right.
Y'all don't need to work for me. Y'all need to do your own thing.
Right.
So he literally gave us half the money and went with us to buy our first truck. He wasn't even supposed to be out the house.
Nice.
We drove him 3 hours away, and we went and we bought this truck. And then, it was all downhill. We bought a dump truck as well, but we bought an old one.
Okay.
Have you seen that pink dump truck that I always post?
Yes.
That was our first truck.
Okay.
Burgundy and black at first. We bought a 97 Ford LTL. That's my baby. 9,000. And that was our first truck. And so we went to work. But you know what? The day we bought that truck, it broke down.
Wow.
The day we bought that truck, it broke down. And we literally sold a car to start this business, to buy this truck. We were on my dad's insurance. Like, we were piecemealing everything.
Right.
And we got 3 miles away from the guy's house that we bought the truck, and it just broke down.
Wow.
We had to put $5,000 in the truck.
Wow. Yeah. From the gate.
From the gate, and we didn't have it. And thank God for my mom's American Express. Okay. Shout out to American Express.
There we go.
American Express.
Sponsor, we got an ad. We got some ad revenue coming in.
I'm just forgetting. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, that's all good. I'm just messing with you.
Thank God to my mom's credit card.
Right.
My mom's credit card saved our life. She was so generous. They did everything they could to help us. So, we had that, backing us. But from the day that we got our truck, it broke down. I was like, we already put insurance on this truck. We got insurance no matter what in a couple of weeks. And so I'm like, this is not going to cut it. And so, that's where I was like, if we're going to do this, we have to do this differently, because we can't just depend on this truck. Because I still to this day don't have a CDL. I had a permit at one point, but I was pregnant. So, I didn't go through the process.
Right.
But I still don't have a CDL. So it's like, if something happens to you, we're in trouble. Something happens to this truck, we're in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's 2012, we started our trucking company, but we also started our truckless company at the same time.
Got you. All right. So when you guys started your company, tell me about kind of getting started. What did you guys do? I mean, obviously you probably had some of your dad's old contacts and connections. What did you guys do to start getting to work and get contracts to kind of get yourselves off your feet after you had the issues at first? You got the truck back up and running. Tell me a little bit about the start of your company.
My dad had a contract at this quarry, and believe it or not, the Bay is the one that got the contract, because he's very, people just know him, right?
Okay.
Like,
he's
a good driver. Yeah.
Right.
He's crazy too. So everybody knows him. So they were like, well, if we don't give my dad, his name is Phil, if we don't give Phil this contract, then we're going to lose this driver, and we need him to run these loads. So they ended up just giving my dad the contract. It's a 3-year waiting list to get into this place.
Wow.
In the area.
Okay.
So just, basically saying, okay, you can come in.
Okay.
So when my dad came in, he added us to his contract.
Got you.
And so the first 2 or 3 weeks we did that. But then as trucking goes, they said something like, oh, we only need one of your trucks to show up. So that puts us at a disservice, because it's like, okay, my dad has his own bills. He can't give his spot up to us, even though he tried, because that's how my dad is. He's generous.
Right.
So what we did was we just started working on some of his other contracts.
Okay.
Mad. They were like, where'd he go? We need him back. And we were like, well, you said only one truck per company. So they gave us a contract. In the same quarry. Again, people were still trying to get in there, but somehow we got in there. And that is how we ended. So that's a contract that, if we still wanted it to this day, we could work. It's at a quarry. It's like a 30-year contract or something ridiculous like that.
Okay.
And it's almost like having a guaranteed route, because you just show up every day, and as long as they have loads coming in, they'll give them out. The only problem is, I don't know if you are familiar with dump trucks, but if it's raining, your job ain't gonna go. If it's too cold, your job might not go.
Okay.
If it's too hot, like they come up with any reason.
Right. And there's no guarantees on any type of money. If you're not working, you're not getting paid.
Absolutely. And so that's how then we started doing night work. So asphalt work to supplement, because that's a stone quarry.
Okay.
And so with some of the guys that were working with us in the quarry, they also had contracts with asphalt companies, and they were doing brokering. And so they gave us an opportunity to start working night work as well.
Okay.
So that was a game changer for us, because that essentially doubles your income.
Okay.
Now that's hourly work. So, I'm a big believer in diversifying your portfolio, whether it's, having a bunch of different things going on or within the same company. So we had tonnage work in the quarry, but then we were also doing hourly work at night and on the weekends.
Okay.
So, that made a big difference because whereas the quarry work was like, who knows what's going on, we could pretty much guarantee we were going to make a couple $100 on the night work because they were beating the clock against winter and trying to get all the roads paved before, the snow and the salt comes back out.
Got you.
So, that was a big eye opener for us. And we started adding night work in as much as possible. We would hire additional drivers to cover because, you got to sleep. So
at some point.
Right. At some point you got to sleep. And
right.
So what ended up happening was all these guys that had been in trucking before us couldn't get on these jobs. And they were like, well, how y'all getting on them?
Yeah.
Like, we don't know. And so we're like, okay, well, I'll ask if we can put one more truck on.
Okay.
It was like, okay, yeah, you can send one more truck. Then the next day I was like, getting phone calls like, I heard you got work. And I'm like, no, I don't have work. And who are you? And how'd you get my number, by the way? My phone started ringing off the hook from all these other guys that wanted to work night work.
Okay.
So at this time, brokering was like, first of all, I don't know if I was breaking the law at this time. So let's just give a whole disclaimer. After
right?
I was brokering for like 2 years. Then DOT sent this notice that you had to have bonding and all this stuff. So at the time that I started, it was like a free for all.
Got you.
So
Got you.
I went literally in 2 days. I went from sending just our truck out on the night work to like sending 15 trucks out.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so, at that time, it flipped the script because it was like, you're busting your ass day in and day out, and I'm making more money just by turning in paperwork.
Right.
Mind-blowing. We were neck and neck. It was like a competition. I was like, well, how much money did you make in the truck this week? Because I made $2,800 brokering.
Right.
Because my expense is paper.
Right. So how'd you even get introduced into that world? Like how'd you understand how the brokering aspect worked?
I had no idea.
Okay.
All I knew was I could get more trucks to work the same job. And so this is how green I was.
Okay.
In the beginning, I never charged anybody anything.
Okay.
They were paying us $58 an hour. Yeah. They were paying us a measly $58 an hour. I paid all the other guys $58 an hour.
Okay.
Then one of the guys said something like, well, all the other brokers charge like 5% or something like that. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But I didn't want to do that because I felt that was a bit high. I wouldn't want nobody to take 5% from me. And so instead of doing that, I would charge $25 a ticket. So if you worked on a day job, I charge you $25. And if you worked on the night job, so the most I would charge any one truck would be $50 a day, flat rate.
Okay.
The guys loved it.
Right.
They knew off the top of, like, when you're doing 5%, that's a whole calculation. And, but when you
flat rate.
Yes. So they loved the flat rate. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, wow, this little $25 really adds up.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, I had no idea. All I knew was I came up with my own processes because I didn't have no webinars to attend. I don't know if you've experienced this, but for us, you ask somebody a question. I say this all the time. You can see a guy changing his tire. Mm-hmm. And you say, hey, how you do that? And he'll say, I don't know. And it's like,
right.
I'm pretty sure you're doing it like right now while we're talking.
Right.
I don't know. I just do it. And it's like, it's so frustrating because I'm like, why doesn't anybody want to help? And so it's the whole competition mentality. Like, you're my competition, so I'm not going to tell you, because even though this is almost $1 trillion industry, you're going to take my money.
Right.
Okay, so nobody would answer our questions, and so we just had to figure it out on our own. Okay. So when we would call and we would work for other people, I would look at their process. I'd be like, oh, you need my tax ID number? Hey guys, I need your tax ID number.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, boys, give me your insurance certificate.
Got you.
Oh, you want me to add you as okay? Then I started looking at their packets. I'm like, let me make me one up.
Right.
So I went and I typed me one up. I was like, okay, so now everybody got to fill out one of these packets when they come to work for us.
Got you.
So I just kind of watched what other people were doing that we were working for, and I started taking from them and implementing myself. I noticed that even though we were working for a large company, that the tickets that we were filling out were for the broker. And I was like, oh, let me go get me some tickets. Let me get official. So I started getting tickets. Like, you can't use your tickets on my job. You got to use mine.
Right.
I would literally just look at what people were doing, and I just started implementing it in what we were doing, and we just figured it out as we went along. We had some hiccups, like everyone does, but that's what happens in trial and error. But luckily, things worked out. You know, we were able to do it for like 2.5 years before DOT was like, oh, you need another DOT number and you need bonding. And I was like, forget that. I ain't doing all of that. It's just too much. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
So eventually you had to obviously conform, you know what I mean? And get with DOT and do everything, you know, quote unquote, the right way. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And that's actually what you actually teach now, correct?
Well, actually, let me be very clear. I call myself the loophole girl.
Okay.
Because I don't like a bunch of restrictions on me. I don't want you telling me a bunch of what I can and can't do. So when they said, oh, you can't do brokering legally anymore, I said, well, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Which is the complete opposite of what most people would do. They're like, oh my God, you were making good money.
Right.
Forget that. I don't want to do that because I thought, now this is ignorance, okay? I thought with my limiting beliefs that I would never get approved for bonding, right?
Okay.
Because I was under the impression when they said you got to go through underwriting, I'm like, underwriting sounds like they're going to check my credit and whoo, baby, that ain't looking good. So we're not going to get this bonding. So I said, well, I'm not going to do it no more. And all my guys were mad, but I was like, oh, no. I will help you fill out the paperwork.
Right.
So this is how Truckless Coins was born. And I know it can be confusing, but I'm going to break it down just a little bit.
Okay, so let's get it.
Instead of me brokering, I just started filling out people's paperwork for them. So I'm like, listen, I'll give you all of my contacts, but if you want me to fill out your contract, I'll do it. It's going to cost you $100 per contract.
Okay.
So then I started putting all my people on direct with all the companies that I worked with because I didn't want to leave them high and dry. These guys become, they started depending on me for day and night work for like 2.5 years. And so I couldn't just shut down just because I didn't want to follow DOT's regulations. So I just helped them go direct. And so I started charging them to do the stuff that I hated to do in my business. So when DOT would send a letter in, some of these guys would be shut down all the time because they wouldn't be reading their mail. So I'm like, as soon as you get the letter, bring it to me, bring me some cash. Right. I started charging $100 for any and everything. Okay. I'll read the letter, I'll respond to the letter, and I'll keep you straight.
Got you.
People started bringing me their letters. They would ask me to, I literally started picking up people's paychecks. So, like in this area, traffic, of course, is crazy. Where are you at?
I'm in Jersey.
Oh, okay, so you're not too far away. So
yeah, not too far.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm sure y'all got some crazy traffic. Okay,
yeah, for sure.
And so when you're not in the truck driving, you're not making money.
Right.
And so for all these owner operators, I would like do their invoices. I was doing the same thing that I was doing when I was brokering. The difference was it was not coming in under my check.
Got you.
I wasn't required by law to get a new DOT number or the bonding. All I was doing was what I call support business.
Got you.
Owner operators.
Nice.
And so that's how I shifted so that I didn't have to, what I thought I couldn't get, these approvals. I was like, okay, well, let's just shift. And so that's what I started doing. And then what would happen is word of mouth. And so at one point I was picking up checks and doing paperwork for like 10 different guys. There was one guy, he was in the Army and he was overseas. He came home, bought a truck, dropped it off with us, and he left. And I basically was a manager for his company, and I just handled all the paperwork. And he already had a driver. you know?
Mm.
So, I did a little spin on it. It was all
Right.
the same process, but it didn't require me to have to go in. And it also decreased my liability, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
several times when I was brokering that I showed up to pick like a $20,000 check up and they were like, oh, we don't have a check for you.
Mm.
That's where that bonding comes in.
Right.
So,
Explain to the people what bonding is for people who aren't familiar with that term. Just a simple explanation.
so what we were instructed to get bonding for was, for example, like we were doing government contracts. To do a government contract, you have to have bonding, but basically it is security. So if your broker doesn't pay and you have bonding, then you can get that payroll money from the bonding company, right?
Right.
And it becomes a separate issue. You're still able to operate.
Mm.
Even if let's say you have a contract and they pay every 30 days and you need the money quicker than that. So it's a security net. It's a safety net in case anything should go wrong. It's like an insurance policy, like on your money.
Mm.
A lot of different businesses need it. Like if you hire a maid, you want someone that's licensed and bonded in case you mess something up in your home.
Right.
So it's like a monetary protection, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And so it's important to have it, but I just didn't think I could get it.
Got you.
I said, okay, I got to figure out how to do this because I got used to that money. And so I wanted to still make the money, but I just felt like now I got to get another insurance policy. I got to get another DOT number, and that DOT number going to cost me money. So, the scarcity mindset.
Right.
That I had back then. So I just felt like I just had to adapt.
Gotcha.
And I just, like I said, I just went and I figured out what was a problem for me in my business, my dad's business, everyone that we knew. And I tried to solve those problems. And so I knew paperwork. I knew, invoicing. Like a lot of guys were doing hand invoices in like a little ticket book. And I was like, your numbers ain't right.
Right.
Like, you charging me $2,000, baby. Your check was $900. Where you get these numbers from?
Right.
So it's like, I started doing that. And then the other thing I started doing was people needed help to start their trucking business.
Okay.
They would go out, they would get a truck or whatever, and they didn't know the process. And so I would literally go and I would establish the business for them, help them open their bank account, do everything that you need to do in order to get to the MVA.
Gotcha.
Their tags. And so I would get them all set up that way. And so, that's where the truckless coins concept came from.
Understood.
From me being lazy.
Nah, it's being smart, man. It's being smart. Working smarter, not harder. I like that. Yeah, so you just mentioned a little bit earlier something about government contracts, and I know minority certification is another thing that you specialize in. How did you get into that? And tell me a little bit about that. How that helps, or how that can help these companies out here.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about. It's really why I created the Black Small Biz platform, because my page is Black Small Biz. It's like, okay, but where the trucking?
Where the trucking at? Right.
So I originally started Black Small Biz to tell people about minority certification, because nobody knows what it is half the time. And they're like, oh, I don't need that because I'm not bidding on government contracts. And I'm like, hello, do you know what you're missing out on? Like, there's so many more things you can do. So basically, minority certification, which you might hear MBE, DBE, all these different, I call them alphabet soup names.
Okay.
Basically, it is a government program where minority-owned businesses and small businesses, they are able to compete with larger companies. And so the example that I always say is like, if you ask your mom, can I go play outside, right? Your mom might say, yeah, okay, go ahead. But if you say something like, Mom, I want to go to the mall, they might say, you can go, but you got to take your little sister with you.
Right. I like that. Yeah.
You're going to get in too much trouble if you take your little sister with you.
Right.
So what I like to say is, you in this story is going to be one of those big companies, right? Mm-hmm. So, I'm not going to throw no names out there because I almost messed up earlier, but let's say, it's BJ's Trucking, right?
Okay.
Trucking is the big company. And the contract that was awarded is over $600,000.
Okay.
Well, the government requires that a contract of that size, that some of the work be given to minority-owned businesses.
Okay.
Right? So that's where the little sister comes in. Little
Mm.
sister is a minority-owned business. And it's like, you can't go and get this mall contract unless you're going to bring your little sister with you. Right?
Okay. Okay.
And so, that gets little sister out the house,
Right.
Some real world experience. That's really what it is. It's one of these larger companies required to take you along, hold your hand, right? And give you access to contracts you would never be able to compete on. So the first time when I first got minority certified, just like it was a fluke. Somebody was not performing on their contract. The minority that was assigned to a contract was not performing.
Okay.
And the job was about to get shut down.
Okay.
Minority was not showing up. And if the inspector comes out on this job site that is federally funded and there's no minority working and it's a huge contract, they will shut it down, or the larger companies can be fined.
Wow.
I remember I hope we probably won't get in trouble for this because it's a news article, but in Alabama, in Birmingham, they were building a Top Golf location.
Okay.
And they were not using minorities properly. They weren't reporting the minorities that they were using properly. And they lost almost $1.5 million in tax incentives.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So these companies have no choice but to use minority businesses. Even for a Top Golf, that's not a government contract, but you have to understand that when these huge companies come to town, the question is, if we let you get this huge plot of land, because more than likely they're renting the land, Top Golf doesn't go and buy the land, somebody owns it, some government owns it, whatever. If we're going to let you come and build this establishment in our city, what are you going to do for the people that live here? Right? And so what they say is, well, if you're going to do these things for these people, if you're going to give them opportunities and give them jobs, you're creating jobs, you're getting our minorities work, well, we can give you tax incentives, or we'll let you build, right? So if you don't follow through and you don't use minorities, you lose your incentives, or you lose your ability to operate that job. Okay. And so this is why it's so important. And I just find it crazy that we don't know about it, because honestly, this was made for our industry.
Wow.
Okay? Construction and trucking, that is the largest, minority contract that are out there, because of course there's a ton of money from the government put into what we do. Whether you're a tractor or a dump truck, half the time you're working on something that's funded by the government.
Right. Why do you think that this type of information isn't broadcasted more? I mean, if these companies need, these minority businesses, in order to basically move forward, why isn't this something that's, put out there more? Why is it such a secret?
Because of fraud. I made a post last week of this TV show I watched called Pearson.
Okay.
In the video, the lady was like, here's an $800,000 check. Go buy half of this man's company so they can be minority owned. Right? It happens day in and day out. Or they'll say, hey, BJ, I'll give you $250,000 if you sign this paper and say you're a minority on my contract. And me being ignorant, I signed the paper, and not ignorant in a bad way, ignorant in that you do not know what's going on. Right. So I signed the paper because $250,000 is a good sum of money.
Yes.
But when you're talking about a $14 million contract, look, I got to get my calculator on this one.
Okay.
When you're talking about like a $14 million contract, because we had a casino here, I think it was $14 million to do it. 23% of that is $3.22 million.
Wow.
That is supposed to be
allocated to small minority businesses.
Right. And so they can do that with trucking, with electricians, they could do it with painters, whatever. But the deal is, a lot of the times we benefit from that. Because nothing gets built if a truck don't bring the materials in.
That's a fact.
Right? None of the dirt gets moved if dump trucks don't haul it out. The roads surrounding these establishments, so it's beautiful for us in this industry, because there are so many, one of the things that bothers me is that people think the only way you can get work is to get on a load board.
Right.
The only way you can get work is to work with a broker.
Mm.
And it's like, that's because that's what we were told. That's what we saw the trucker before us do. And it's like, there's so much more for us out here. We just don't know it exists. And so that is why I came and created Black Small Biz. I was like, do y'all know this is here?
Mm.
Do y'all know this is here? Because you can get loans because you're minority certified. There's a loan program. You get 18 months, no interest, just because you're certified.
Mm. Wow.
I was applying to finance a truck. Now, I told you, my credit was jacked, okay? 5 years it took me to get an approval. And I was making $500,000 a year.
Wow.
But because my personal credit was jacked up, and I didn't know, I'm thinking, well, they're going to look at my business. My business is amazing.
Right.
Oh, they want you to personally guarantee some of these trucks, right? I didn't know about business credit.
Right.
So I'm just, I'm all confused. Well, I told these people, I'm like, listen, you see my statements. It does not make any sense to me that you're telling me no just because my personal credit is messed up. Look at my business. I mean, I'm a whole minority certified. Excuse me, Ms. Phillips, did you say you were minority certified? Yes. Why didn't you tell me that at first? He said, I'll call you back. 30 minutes later, he called me back and I had an approval to get a truck.
Wow. That's crazy.
Simply because I took 3 months out of my life to go and get minority certified. And so it's really, really powerful. Getting minority certified really changed the trajectory of our business. And it opened our eyes to the opportunities that were available, because when I was getting certified, there was a woman in there that was getting certified to sell printer ink.
Wow.
Ma'am, what the heck are you going to do? I have no cut card. I ain't got no sense. I'm like,
right. What
are you going to do? And she said, well, the government has to buy ink for their printers.
Right. Smart.
Lady.
Wow.
So it's really powerful whether you're actually, I've never bid on one contract.
It's all just basically come to you.
Well, no, yes.
For the most part, like you've been in the right place, right time, because you're minority certified. They're like, oh yeah, perfect. Let's go.
Exactly. When I call to get work, when you're calling and saying, hey, do you need independent trucks, whatever, they always say, I said, I'm minority certified. So if you guys change your mind, oh, hold on, let me transfer you real quick.
Wow.
Because even if they can't use me today, they want me in their Rolodex.
That's powerful.
Oh, that sounds so old, right?
In the Rolodex.
Y'all don't know what a Rolodex is. It's your contact.
The Rolodex. That's
they
funny.
They want your information because at some point they know it can be beneficial. So, I've never had to bid on a contract, but it really, really changed our business. Because remember, at the beginning, I said when we started brokering, we were getting paid $58 an hour.
Right.
But when we got our first minority contract, I didn't even have to negotiate, because remember, I was taking over someone else's contract.
Okay.
We were getting $80 an hour.
Right.
That's life-changing.
Wow.
It's life-changing so much so that I was able to give all of my guys a raise, and I still was profiting $15 per hour off of every single truck.
Wow.
That's a full-time job coming to me for one truck.
Yes.
We're doing 10 and 15 a day and night.
Yeah, for sure.
That's life-changing. So at that point, it would have been worth it for me to go ahead and get the bonding and all of that stuff if I could. I just thought I couldn't, so I adapted.
Gotcha.
But again, that opportunity came from me being minority certified. I didn't even bid on a contract. I was just, like you said, in the right place at the wrong time, at the right time.
Right time.
Somebody was not doing right, and they to replace that minority, and I was there to pick up the slack. So all I did was have to sign a piece of paper that said I was the new minority. I didn't have to turn in any proposals or anything, and I don't do math, but that was a big raise. It was a big raise.
Wow.
It was mind-blowing.
Wow.
And so, there's other things, you can use minority certification, and you can provide materials. So when I'm talking about us paving 95, I always use the example, if we're paving 95, they need asphalt, they need, sometimes they need gravel, those materials can be used with the minority certification.
Wow.
So that's why I'm like, hold up.
Wow, this is
So
crazy.
you saying I could leave my truck in the garage? I ain't gotta pay no fuel, and
Oh
all
my
I have to do is just
gosh.
give this workout.
Right,
This
right,
is where my 23-day vacations and the truckless mindset came from. It's like, listen, running trucks or running loads for money is gonna keep you broke
right,
because you
right.
start every day off in the red.
Mm,
Whether it's paying your driver, paying your fuel, paying your insurance, every day you start off in the red, and you gotta pray that everything goes right, and you gotta pray that your broker pays you at the end of the pay week.
right, right.
This is a whole different ball game.
Hmm.
And so when we added that to our traditional trucking, it was a game changer for us. So
Wow. So you guys were doing that and still running the dump truck as well, but you just combine both.
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So is this information like public, like to where people can actually go and see what kind of stuff the government's looking for, what the
Absolutely.
needs are?
I teach it in my minority classes. Sometimes I just go live. I'm like, look, let me show y'all something. As a matter of fact, the other week I saw that in Washington, D.C., they are going to be putting all the power lines underground.
Okay.
That's like a 7-year project.
Yeah, for sure. For
That's
sure.
with the utility company.
Right.
That's a big deal. So I said, okay, let me show y'all. Like, I found that on Instagram. I
Right.
followed a hashtag for Washington, D.C., and the mayor made some posts. I was like, whoa. I was like, babe, we might need to go get some more, like, because we had moved on to tractors, right?
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
we might need to go get more dump trucks
Right.
because it's a 7-year project coming. And that, my friend, is pipe work. That's like sitting all day.
Right. Right.
That's
letting the clock run.
Yes, that's site work almost. And
Right.
so it's like, okay, so I went on, I said, listen, let me show you guys my thought process and how I do this. So I said, okay, I'm gonna look at these government sites. All this stuff is public knowledge. If they spend $1, it's public knowledge.
Mm.
It's
Wow.
out there. It's just that people don't know where to look, and it's confusing, right?
Wow.
You don't know what you're looking at. You have no idea what you're looking at if you don't know what you're looking for.
That's a
So
fact.
I go and I show them, like, listen, you don't even have to get certified to benefit from this information. Okay. Let me show you how to stalk these companies. Okay. Because see, my thought process is this. If you are working on a new big government contract, that's going to take so much of your focus, so much of your business, everything, right? Because that's a huge government contract and you have to make sure you perform.
Right.
Well, people typically have other clients before they get a big government contract. So I call them and I say, listen, I heard you just got this contract. Congratulations.
Okay.
But if you need some help covering your old work, call me.
Mm.
I don't want to work on that government contract. But if you need me to come in and subcontract and cover your other work, call me.
Mm.
It's not how can I get in and how can you put me on? No. How are you going? It's not what you can or what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country, right?
Right.
Not what that trucking company can do for you. What can you do for that trucking company?
Right.
I love that.
Right.
You gotta change your frame of mind, right? To how you can help people.
Yes.
The minute I started helping people, we 4x'd our income.
Wow. So let's talk about that because you touched on starting Black Small Biz a little bit earlier. So now we're kind of right back there. So Black Small Biz, this is your platform for basically education, right? Why was it important for you to start this platform? And tell me about it. What's the response been? How has it been since starting? Tell me a little bit about Black Small Biz.
Yeah, so I started Black Small Biz in 2016, in the fall of 2016. And I actually started it because I love marketing, right? It's just, it's so good to me. I love it. It's fascinating, right? And so I was starting a marketing business because I had pretty much automated my trucking stuff, right?
Okay.
And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to get into marketing because I had been researching it and I knew I wanted to do it. So while I would show up to these local businesses to talk marketing, every single time I ended up talking about minority certification.
Okay.
Every single time. And I'm like, But anyways, that's not what I came here for.
Right, right.
Oh, but that's what I want to hear. So
Right.
I'm really bad at this marketing.
Right. Right.
Not working.
You're trying to sell one thing and they're trying to buy something else.
Like, well, can I pay you to do my certification? I'm like, yes, but that's not why I came here.
Right.
I really signed up for this marketing program and I'm paying thousands of dollars a month for it. So I really need you to sign up for that. I don't want that.
Right.
Show me how to get minority certified. I'm like,
got you.
So I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to just create an Instagram page and I'm just going to start talking about it and see what happens.
Okay.
Actually, I created an Instagram page, but I also created a Periscope. You know what that is?
I do.
Periscope was so good to me. I would go live every night on Periscope, and within a couple of weeks, they just started coming in droves. They were like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I never heard of this before. What can I do with this? Like, how can I use it? So I'm just showing everybody. So that's how Black Small Biz started. But by nature of the beast, I'm telling people, well, only reason why I know this exists is because I used it in my trucking business.
Got you. Okay.
Why? So they're like, oh, you got a trucking business?
Right. Okay. Okay.
So I'm like, listen, people, I'm here to talk about minority certification. Okay. This is the deal. Y'all need to know this. But everybody's like, well, I want to know about trucking too. So that's how the two became one on the team.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, honestly, I just know that when I was doing my research and really understanding this certification, there was this graph, and it was from figures from 2016. No, it had to be before 2016. So maybe 2014, 2015. But it disturbed me to no end. So the graph was the average gross receipts of businesses by racial demographic.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like Black and African Americans, and our average gross receipts was $58,000 a year.
Wow.
Which
doesn't
sound bad.
Wow.
But then you start looking
in comparison to
Latino Americans, 154,000. Asian Pacific Islanders, 300,000. And it's like everybody, the smallest number next to us was 6 times what we were making.
Right.
And it's like, why? We have Black women, the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. We got all this Black excellence, opening up all these amazing businesses, just doing big things. But our gross average receipts are $58,000. That's a problem.
Wow. Yes.
That doesn't even make sense to me. And I felt like the reason why is because we do not utilize all of the resources that are at our disposal. So I was like, oh, I have a job to do. I'm required to tell people about this because I know it, and I know it changed my life. So I have to share. Right. It's just like, I love Black people. I just love us. No offense, no shade, but listen, I just love us, and I want to see us win. I see so many people that have amazing skill sets, and they're doing stuff for free for their friends and their family. And I'm like, do you have any idea? Not just about how much money you can make and how you can create your own financial freedom. Do you know how many lives you can change with your info? We don't know that. Right. For some reason, we feel like we're not entitled to this. And I need people to get up out of that. So that's where Black Small Biz came from. It's like, you're amazing. Let's do this. What information do you need to excel? Because it's a whole, listen, I tell people all the time, a lot of people hate me because when I come and I teach stuff, I teach people how to go and utilize these free resources to the point where you'll never pay for another person's webinar or class again. Wow. Yes. And oh well. It cuts into my pockets too, but oh well. Right. We all need to win, period.
For sure. Got you. So how has the response been working with people? I mean, opening people's eyes to this new information. Like, how has the response been? How has that made you feel? Talk to me a little bit about dealing with people with this, this new information that you're presenting to them.
I wasn't taking it seriously. People were excited about it. But it was probably not until last year around this time, because last year in the summertime, we decided to venture over into tractors, and I got really busy. So I stopped posting, I stopped going live, and I would get these emails like, where you been? I need your info. I need your help. Like,
Right.
we miss you. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's so sweet. I love that.
Right.
But you get these messages and it's like, you changed my life. And I'm like, who? What are you talking about? You opened my eyes to this. And then people that started following me on Periscope,
mm-hmm.
I would just make a post and they're like, let me tell you what I've been doing. You would be so proud of me. And it's like, dang, that was 2 years ago I told you that.
Right.
And done that with it?
Right.
So I didn't realize there was an impact being made until I stopped showing up. And then when I peeked my head back out, people were like, you have no idea what your information did. I've been looking for you so I could tell all these people, thank God you came back. So it's been good. There's been some negativity, but the negativity is not even worth addressing. Most of the negativity is men who say, I don't know what I'm talking about and I don't know nothing about trucking.
Okay.
That is the only problem I really have. Other than that, it's all gravy. It's beautiful to see people taking action off of what I share with them and then what they're able to do. So it's been really good. I get great response. I get a ton of people, asking me like, can you come? People are telling me the other week somebody told me I'm the female MLK. I was like, okay, bro, you're going too far. Listen, I received your message. Thank you so much, but you want a bit too much. But people want me to come and speak in front of churches and stuff. And I'm like, you're the first person who has asked me for an interview and I accepted it.
Wow.
Because I don't, in my mind, I'm like, why would they want to, like, why? Who even cares? I'm posting ratchet stuff in my stories, and every now and then I give a little bit of good good advice, but yeah, it's still confusing to me.
Wow.
Listen to me.
Wow. Well, I'm honored that you accepted my invite. Thank you very much. Yeah. And you don't got to do any more interviews after this, so I could be the only one. You can shut them all down after this.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right. So we good.
Actually, was good. I was nervous, but yeah, this is great.
Nah, cool. So we're not done just yet. Let's kind of keep on rolling. All right. So we talked about Black Small Biz. You also teach about sales funnels. You said you love marketing, right? Talk to me a little bit about sales funnels, because that's something that we really don't talk about on this show. And man, when I have a person who's an expert, I love to just get as much information as I can. So because you've built a very nice brand. I've watched you grow over the years, just following you. So you're obviously doing something right. So talk to me and people who are interested in marketing products that they have, so forth and so on. Give us a little bit on that.
Yeah. Well, the deal with sales funnels, I always say game changer, but if you don't know what a sales funnel is like taking the best salesperson you will ever find and making them work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you only have to pay them one time.
Right.
They are going to work for you non-stop and continue to bring you new customers and bring you new leads, because it's not always a customer, but you do get leads.
Right.
And so the deal is, because I told you I'm lazy, I have always I read this book. It was called The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco.
Okay.
And he started 1-800-Limousines. And the whole thing is like, he says, we've been sold a lie. The American dream is a lie, because no matter how hard you work, you're probably not going to be able to retire in this day and age, And we see that. Like,
that's a fact.
We see that. And so I really wanted something that operated in the background so that I could diversify.
Right.
I wanted I have seen people, my mom worked 30 years for a company, and 2 years before she was set to retire, they took half of her retirement away because the government gave them permission to do so.
Wow.
So where my mom thought my mom lost $400,000 overnight.
Man.
And so I saw that and I was like, well, I can't depend on what I thought I was going to be able to depend on. I'm going to have to figure out how to make some money on my own.
Right.
And so I tried everything. I have been MLM up and down. Okay. All kinds of MLMs. I've sold t-shirts. I sold bootleg Kylie Jenner makeup. Okay. I was doing everything. But then I found out like, okay, at the end of the day, nothing is, you put a glass ceiling on yourself when you leverage your time for money. And so I didn't want to do that. And so that's when I found out about sales funnels. And when I actually started playing with them, I was like, well, this is kind of interesting because I only had to do this one time and I set it up. And if I just keep posting or I keep running traffic to it, it's going to work for me. Because see, the thing is, I can only tell so many people in person what to do.
Right.
I can tell so many people how to start a trucking company in one day. Right.
Right.
Because I talk a lot. I get to talking. I don't shut up. My consults, people get over on me because they be like, "Oh, let me book this 30-minute consult." 3 hours later, you still on the consult. I'm like,
right.
So I'm like, okay, I can't do this one person at a time because I want to make an impact. Right.
Okay.
And so I felt like, okay, I knew these sales funnels work to sell physical products. I've seen it happen. But I've also seen people selling their expertise.
Right.
I was like, well, you know what? People are always asking. I don't really have time to teach these one-on-one classes anymore. So let me put my program into a sales funnel. So 2 years ago, well, now it's 2019. So 3 years ago, I taught a class called Rich and Truckless.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, I'm going to start with Rich and Truckless and I'm going to see if that works. Because again, I want to retire. I'm lazy. And I want to have to be literally operating hands-on a trucking business for the rest of my life.
Okay.
So I said, okay, well, I'm going to see, people have been asking me to help them start trucking business for years. So let me see if I can put this in a sales funnel. And that's what I did. I recorded, I did that image that you talked about in the beginning of this interview.
Right.
I was like, listen, if you want to do this, come on through. So I did several live webinars and I was like, the webinar is pretty good. People liked it. I'm just going to put the recording out from now on. So that didn't require me to show up every week. I could still do whatever was going on. Because remember, I told you I started that tractor business. I was busy.
Right.
And so we had dump trucks and tractors and I'm trying to do marketing.
Right.
I was like, well, this is supposed to be on autopilot. So let me just put this on autopilot. And I'm looking and I'm like, 50 students. Okay.
Right.
100 students. I'm like, wow. Okay, so this is working. Well, let me try it a different way. So basically, I kept doing it. I kept trying the funnel, which again is just you being the best salesperson you can be on camera one time and then putting it out there on autopilot. And it's a game changer. It really is. And I've done it for physical products. I've done it for classes. I've done it for all sorts of things. And sales funnels work. They just work because there's a psychology. You're never going to get someone to buy from you by saying, hey, you want this? Like the psychology of selling is it takes 7 touch points for someone to buy from you.
Right.
Whether they know you or not, typically you need 7 touch points. Right. And we don't have time to do that to reach the masses. But even with your podcast, I hope you have a sales funnel. If not, we're going to be talking about that.
Oh, we're going to talk.
Okay? Because it's so powerful. Even if you're giving something away for free, a sales funnel is amazing. It's complete automation. And the people who really make it big, and I'm not talking about famous, I'm talking about people who get to that level of financial freedom to where they can retire and they're still making money. They're doing it with some form of automation. Right. And if your business is dependent on you being there, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you not to make money. Last week, I was in the hospital. No, not last week. Maybe the week before last. The first week of school, I was in the hospital 2 separate days.
Right.
The rest of the days, I was in the bed. And I still, with my sales funnels, was able to do almost $7,000.
Wow.
But I
Wow.
ain't had no fuel though. I ain't had no
Wow.
fuel though. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
I haven't talked about it a lot recently because I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
But every business needs a sales funnel, even if it's getting drivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's turn a sales funnel into trucking, right? So
Okay.
for me, if I was to set up a sales funnel today, one of the biggest sales funnels I would do is for drivers, right?
Okay. Recruiting.
And yes, absolutely. I would set up a front page, do you have a CDL? Do you have a Class A? And at that point, they would simply drop in their email address, their name, and their phone number, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I have someone who says they have a CDL. Okay. So I can do a whole bunch of things from there. I can hire someone on Fiverr to call these people. Fiverr is like a gig site. It's like you can do, it used to be every gig was $5. So you could hire someone for $5 to make phone calls and ask them questions, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I would take it one step further. Once they drop that info in, then I would have a questionnaire. I would have them send me their driving record. None of this will require them to talk to me.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So now I'm weeding out people. Like one time I was on Craigslist putting ads up, and I had people who hadn't driven a truck in 15 years, but they got fired from their job and they wanted to come drive my truck. No, you don't. No, sir. You need to have been in the truck yesterday if you want to drive my truck.
Right.
So now I'm able to ask these questions and weed out the people who do not qualify.
Gotcha.
Might send them through another step. Like, you know how you go and you apply for a job and they do like a personality quiz?
Correct. Yes.
All of these things that you would typically do to hire a driver, if you want them to go and take their physical or their drug test, like all of that stuff can be put on automation. You can send them through the process. And if they don't make it through all those steps, then they were not your ideal driver because they're either lazy and didn't want the job or they don't qualify.
Right.
So then you take them through all of these steps prior to you ever having to speak with them. Think about how much time you'll save because hiring a driver is not easy.
Correct.
Right? All of this, you can do all of this, and then you can have your system send their driving record and information directly to your insurance broker.
Right.
And then your insurance broker can come back and say, this is a good candidate, right? Because that's my insurance. She was like, don't test drive them in your truck until you talk to me first because you don't want to waste your time. I said, okay, that's a good idea. So you can set all of this up, have their information go over to your insurance person, and then they can say, yeah, you should talk to this one, or don't waste your time because even if they're a good driver, their record is going to make your insurance skyrocket, right? All of this can be done on autopilot so you can focus on money-making tasks. See? So that's just one aspect of operating your business where you can put it into a sales funnel.
Wow.
And there was no sale being made, but it's still called a funnel because you're dropping in thousands of candidates, right? You can run local ads on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever in your area, and you can get all of these candidates. And then as they go through each step, it's going to get a smaller number and a smaller number until you get to your ideal person. Got you. And that's what you want, but you don't want to be involved in every step because as a solopreneur, when we try to do everything ourselves, we put a glass ceiling on our income.
Yes.
So I like to use funnels and automation to remove as much of that glass ceiling as possible.
Right. And then you have the time to be creative or run the operation. And like you said, do the money making tasks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Nah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's great. I mean, that's something that we haven't talked about here on Truck and Hustle, y'all. So sales funnels, if you guys have a product or you have an expertise that you're interested in selling, go see BJ, go check her out. Cause I'm going to tell you, her funnels work. You know what I mean? I mean, just in what I've seen over the years, I can tell that you're doing things the right way and you're building your audience. And that's awesome. That's awesome. So it seems like every day you're coming up with new creative ways to make money and new things. I just recently saw you you did the truck flipping thing, right? Yeah. I see that's kind of something you're moving into a little bit.
That's the Bay. That's his arena.
Oh, okay.
A long time.
Okay.
I was like, do you want to teach a class? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'll help you. Come on, let's teach a class. So he said that's what he wanted to teach.
Got you.
So yes, we did the truck flipping, the strategy of that, and I think I'm gonna link up with someone else to talk about the wholesaling, like, you know, not wholesaling, but getting the dealer's license, because we
Oh,
talked about the strategy, but you know, you have to have a dealer's license unless, like, if you're operating a trucking company, you can flip trucks easily because you can bring them in, you can work them, and if people like them, they're gonna ask you, can they buy it, right?
right, right,
Everything's for sale. Okay.
right, for sure.
If he could sell me, I swear he would. I'm telling you, he's like, it's ridiculous. So his motto is everything's for sale. So if you have
I
a
like
truck,
that.
it don't matter if he just put $10,000 into that truck. If somebody comes with the right number, he's gonna sell it.
There you go.
Then there are people who aren't in trucking yet, and they don't own a trucking business. And if they buy a truck and sell a truck, like, they have to have that, you know, the legal stuff set up. So I think we're gonna do a part 2 to that, to show people who are not in trucking exactly how they can get in on flipping trucks, because that's it's good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And shout to your DMX challenge. That was definitely that was crazy, man. That was on point. That was on point. If y'all haven't seen
Oh,
the Black Small Biz DMX challenge, make sure you go on Instagram and check that out.
just to be clear, that's a side effect of a sales funnel. I clearly have too much time on my hands.
But you did your thing though. That was crazy, and that went viral. And you know, I saw people sharing it and so forth and so on. So that was dope. All right, so we're coming kind of, you know, towards wrapping everything up. I don't want to keep you too long. I want you to be able to enjoy your day. What's next for you? Because you have, you know, so much things going on. I mean, what are you thinking about 5-10 years from now? What's in your mind? What are we working on?
You know, probably my end game, I would like to open a truck stop.
Okay.
Yeah, because all of the things that we do, you know, and I haven't even talked to my audience about all the things that we do. But at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is when we started helping owner operators, it increased our business. We meet amazing people all over the world. Like, we be on vacation giving consults. Okay.
Right.
So basically, I think that would be my end game, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that try to take advantage of owner operators, people that don't know the industry. Like, that's one of the comments I get in my ads all the time. Like, you don't know nothing about trucking, you just taking advantage. Nah, baby. I know a little bit.
Right.
I know a little bit. And I do know there's people out there trying to take advantage of the people in this industry. So that would be my end game. I would love to open a truck stop. You know, in this area. One of our Baltimore truck wash closed like 2 years ago. And so we got to go all the way to Fredericksburg, Virginia, or Blue Beacon, wherever that is,
Wow.
for an official truck wash place or whatever. So yeah, I would probably do that. If I could do whatever I wanted, I would open a truck parking lot / truck stop. That would be the end game. I really wanted to, my original entrepreneurial goal was real estate. And
Okay.
so if I could get those two together, that would be my end game. I'm working on it.
Wow, and you've had this much success so far, and I haven't seen real estate at all in any funnel. So I can imagine once we get there, man, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to, you know, it's real hard. You know how they say, like, build in silence? It's so hard.
Right,
I really like typing stuff. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna tell them that yet.
Yeah.
I don't confuse nobody.
No, I got you, because a bunch of different messages could start to get a little cluttered, and people could start being like, "Hold on, what am I doing here? I'm all over the place." Right.
Yeah, but I just feel like, you know, in this industry, those are some things that we really need. We need some more assistance for owner operators, where it's not just a money game, you know, because we've done so well over the years charging the bare minimum.
Gotcha.
Our owner operators, like, people cannot believe you charge $25. Yes, I do, and I do well. Okay.
Right.
They keep coming back. Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's the deal. I just want to continue to be able to help people, because I feel like a lot of the times in this industry we get sold a dream. Right. People say, "Oh, you can make a ton of money," but nobody wants to talk about what can really happen. So I have this new webinar. I'm doing this free webinar I've been doing. It's called Death to Traditional Trucking.
Okay.
Because so many people believe you have to go finance this brand new truck and find a company to work for. Like, people have the game so twisted, and I just want people to come into this with a true idea of what they're getting into. Because people talk about the money, and the money is good, but they don't talk about all the things that plague us in this industry. And so I just want to be real and just let people know what they're really getting into and give them options. Because not everybody is cut out to own a traditional trucking business. I could never do this if I didn't have my fiance.
Gotcha. Right.
But there are people who could bring things to this industry that don't require them to go buy a truck and ruin their lives because they don't know what they're doing. This can be a very beautiful industry if you come into it with the right knowledge and the right skill set. And I think people go into it backwards.
Wow. Dope. Well, any other final thoughts that you want to tell the people before we wrap it up? Talk to the people that are listening. Just give me one last final thought.
I just want everyone, if you are thinking of getting into this industry, and if you are in this industry, I just really want you to think outside the box. The running loads is not the only money there is in this industry. And if it's not really for you, then don't do it. You know, there's other things that you can do, but the most important thing is run those numbers. Can you afford to operate your trucking business if nobody pays you?
Got you.
That happens to us a lot.
Nice.
It really does. It's reality. And so you have to be prepared. Go into this with the right knowledge, do your research, and whatever money you think you need, double or triple it before you get into it.
Nice. Wow. And where can the people reach you? So social media, website?
Yes, you can go to blacksmallbiz.com and see what kind of shenanigans I'm up to. Or Instagram. I'm always on Instagram because, I just love ratchet things. So you can find me on Instagram. If you on my posts, I try to be very professional, but if you're in my stories, you might be in for something.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
gotta be honest,
Hey, no doubt. Listen, thank you so much for joining me today. You dropped a lot of bombs, a lot of value. I appreciate it. Everybody, make sure you go check out at Black Small Biz on Instagram. Check out all the courses, the curriculum, the mentorship. She's been providing value for the last couple of years, and I'm sure she's going to keep on keeping on. Nothing's going to change. So thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate you, and I'll definitely talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
If you like what you heard, it's only going to get better. Make sure you subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to learn or hear more about. Till next time, love is love, truck and hustle.